Good morning. It's Tuesday morning. It's the Ides of March. Beware. We read from Romans 9, 30. Just a moment, I lost it. Yes, 30 through 33, the rest of Romans 9. What shall we say then? That Gentiles who did not pursue righteousness have attained it. That is, a righteousness that is by faith. But that Israel, who pursued a law that would lead to righteousness, did not succeed in reaching that law. Why? Because they did not pursue it by faith, but as if it were based on works. They have stumbled over the stumbling stone. As it is written, Behold, I am laying in Zion a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense, and whoever believes in him will not be put to shame. So, he's concluding this portion by saying, well, so what are we saying? And he says, well, what we're saying is that the Gentiles who don't have the law have faith, and so they have righteousness. They're doing all right. You Romans, you know what's going on. But the Jews have the law, and they seek to attain righteousness by obeying the law instead of faith in God who gave them the law. And so they've stumbled over the stumbling block, the scandalon it is in Greek. And that's Jesus. I mean, he comes and he's a scandal. No one's quite sure what to do with him. The Gentiles don't believe in him. The Jews don't believe in him. Nobody believes in him. He's a scandal, and he's a stumbling block. And if you want to obey the law, he's in your way. He's a scandal. And if you want to be righteous some other way, he's in your way. So Jesus is always the problem for the ancient world and for our world. There's a lot of people out there trying to figure out, okay, in this postmodern digital world in which we find ourselves living, which is so different from the modern world of just 40 years ago, how do we deal with Jesus now? And in this post-COVID world, how are we going to deal with Jesus? And I think a lot of people are moving toward a more ancient and a more authentic understanding of Jesus, not getting caught up in the battles of modernity. The battle over how inspired and the authority of Scripture, and the battle over evolution. If your church agrees that evolution might possibly have ever happened somewhere, then you're all going to hell, and this kind of nonsense. And it's nonsense because it's all a modern issue. No one thought about any of those things until the 1800s, 1700s, sometimes the 1900s. And so, it's a lot of nonsense, folks. What matters is what we do with this stumbling block that's sitting there in our way. I like to keep the baptismal font front and center, not off in a corner somewhere. And a woman came up to me once before a wedding and said, well, that baptismal font, it's in the way. And I said, yes, ma'am, baptism is always in our way, isn't it? Well, she was horrified that I was going to leave it there during the wedding. I finally agreed to push it, 6 feet to the side, but only because I didn't feel like fighting with her that day, because if I'd stuck to my guns, the bride would have had to step around the baptismal font because it's in the way. Jesus is always in our way. If he would just go away, we could do what we want. But he won't. He won't go away, and we have to answer his question, and we have to say, what are we going to do with him, and who do you believe that Christ is? Those are the questions. That's what it means for him to be a stumbling block. So, watch out that you don't fall and hurt your knees over the stumbling block, and let's have a good day out there, and we'll see you tomorrow.